juggling business and kids can be really tricky if you're not in that, I guess, momentum of balancing it all. Now you guys homeschool, and your kids are extremely smart, and you know how to handle this. But how do you deal with that?
So first, I just want to share, we don't homeschool anymore. Last year, in the
Yes.
middle of last year, our kids really started talking to us about needing more social interaction, more social engagement, that they wanted to be able to be more around people their age. So we have them in an alternative school here in Austin that is extraordinary. It's kind of a homeschool transition school. It's actually in a home, and there's a limitation of 82 kids, and it's run like a liberal arts college. And my kids,
That's
when
awesome.
it's incredible. People are moving from around the United States to go to this school, but it's sold out right now. It's completely at capacity. We're actually, the owner of the school is actually one of our members, and we're showing her how to increase the capacity by opening other schools and by expansion. And so we're really excited about it. And I mean, Joy, it's so intense. When there's a vacation, the first vacation that they had, my 11-year-old cried when she was 11. So Kennedy, my younger daughter, she was upset that she couldn't go to school. So we know they're in a great
Wow.
place now. But before, I think, again, entrepreneurs have been sold this bill of goods that you can't do it all. And if you have the right process and the right structure and the right routine in your life, you can have a business that is extraordinarily successful. You can have investments that you make, and you make your money make you money. You can have an incredible relationship with your spouse, and you can also have a connected and authentic and real relationship with your kids. And when we're with our kids, it's either one of two things. We're either focused as a family together, or when we're around other people and our kids, they hear everything. They're not left out of conversations. We don't tell them they need to leave the room when we're talking to somebody. And I just had my cousin and his husband were out here this weekend, and Jim, Thomas's husband, said, my cousin is Thomas and Jim is his husband. And Jim said, I'm really impressed with how transparent you are with the kids. Like, you just have every conversation you have with adults in front of your kids. And I'm like, yeah, I think one of the biggest issues with being an entrepreneur is that we try to compartmentalize and pretend like we have this over here and this over here and this over here. We don't do that with our kids. I have this podcast called Tell Your Kids Everything. And it's a belief that I have that children really need to understand way more about being adults while they're children, because we shelter them until they're 15, 16, 17, 18, when they start getting included in adult situations. And then we wonder why they fall flat when they go out in the world, or why they get knocked down and punched in the face over and over and over again. Well, the reality is they haven't had the ability to understand what's going to happen. And so I don't compartmentalize. When I need to work, I tell the kids I need to go work, and they understand what I'm doing. And I also have a ton of routine and structure around making sure that we have dinner every night as a family, that every morning when they wake up, one of us is there or both of us is there with them. And so when you have the right routine and the right process, and you're willing to ask for help, you don't have to sacrifice a lot of your life.
Yeah. No, I like that. Now, this podcast is about diving in behind the scenes to understand what makes successful people successful. Now, Alex, you've just talked about routine. Can you please tell us, what would your daily routine look like?
Sure. So I get up relatively early, not as early as I used to. I used to be like a 4 or 4:30 person, and now I value sleep a little more. I've learned just how much recovery the body needs when you're really active, and so these days I sleep in until 5:15 or 5:30, which for a lot of people still feels early. This morning I think I was up at 5. So I get up early, and the first thing I do is clean my mouth, brush my teeth, scrape my tongue, and then I have a ton of water, usually somewhere around like 20, 30 ounces of water, just to get the body started.
Yeah.
I come down to my office, and I used to call it a morning routine, but so much of it, Joy, has converted to ritual. I have a space in my office, which a lot of people in the spiritual world would call an altar. It's kind of a 3D vision board where you put the things you want to attract into your life. And so I have some books that really mean a lot to me. I have pictures of Katie and my kids. We recently bought land here in Texas that we're developing, so I have the survey for the land. I have some crystals and some stones and some candles and some awards that we've won that I want to repeat. And I stand in front of that altar, and I say my intention for the day. It often sounds something like, I want to call in my guides, my higher power, my higher self, my guardian angels to help me through this day, to understand what I should do and to move my family forward, my business forward, my relationship forward. And I say it in a way that makes it so that I have a body response. So when I'm getting chills, when I'm feeling connected, I know that I'm doing the right thing.
Mm.
And I'll light the candles in the altar, then spend some time at my desk, usually journaling. I like to get a few things out in the morning. I feel like, that first 90 minutes after you wake up is so crucial because your mind's activated in a way it won't be for the rest of the day. Then I do spend some time learning, before my kids are up, before Katie's up, I'll watch a video for a course that I'm in. Right now, I'm in one of Dane Thomas's course is called Light Bringers. It's amazing. So I'll rewatch some of his stuff or somebody else's or read a book. Then I go up and I get Katie up, and Katie and I take our dog for a walk. And that's like the first connection point in the morning. While we wake up the kids, we take the dog, this little shih tzu that we have for a walk. And then I come back, and depending on whether I'm driving the kids to school or not, there's a routine that I go through. And, it includes almost every morning is a cold plunge in 39-degree water for at least 3 minutes, sometimes 4 or 5 or more. Yeah, every day I do one of the most difficult, like I have a fear of cold water, like still today, I have this massive fear of cold water. I've been doing it every day for over a year. And one of my coaches, Shane Saunders, calls it stepping into discomfort on purpose. Like if you bring discomfort on purpose, you know how to keep it out of the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. And so I'll do the cold plunge. Then I'll come back and help get the kids get ready. And if I'm driving them to school, I take them to school and we have connection time on the way. And if I'm not driving them, then I'm here and I probably do more learning, some meditation, spend some time really understanding what I want to get out of the day. And every morning I go through what we call our momentum planner.
Yes.
And so this is one of our, I think it's the most effective product we have for anything that anybody wants to get done. And so each morning I write down from the day before what I was grateful for and where I won the day before. I write down what's my intention for the day, where I was uncomfortable the day before, and then I make a to-do list. But the important thing is I pick out the top 3 things that I want to get done. And before I drive the kids to school or Katie drives the kids to school, we get together and we share this with each other with intention. So every day we have this alignment around those 6 questions. Where did I win? And what am I grateful for? What's my intention today? Where was I uncomfortable yesterday? What are the top 3? And then anything we have to share off the to-do list. And that level of intention, that intentionality, even though it's maybe 5 to 15 minutes that we talk, the fact that it happens daily, the fact that we do it every day, there's not a lot of drift in our relationship. It creates a massive amount of connection. Yeah. And so, and then I go into my day, and that includes, I start with a conversation with my operator, Haley, the person who helps us run our business, then our leadership team, then our daily huddle, and then whatever's on my schedule for the day.
And one of the things that I've learned in your program that is going to stick with me until the day I die one day, I'm sure, is having that structure, routine, and process in your business. Now, it's one thing to have in your business, but it's also incredibly important in your personal life because, they work together, right? It's just a circle of how they work together. And
they can work against each other, Joy.
That is true as well. And I have noticed that as well. So when it comes to the structure, routine, and process, and obviously, momentum planner, because I have one right here as well. Here's my planner.
That's awesome.
It's right here. It's written. It's,
that is cool.
I'm on a mission with it. So this is a game changer, guys. So definitely. But when I look at my momentum planner, for example, and my to-do list is the to-do list. I know you call it that as well because you're forever just sitting, because you always have a million things to do. It's just a problem, I guess, in life in general. But when I look at the to-do list, it's always this long, but I know you have to dump it all. And then I look at my intention, and then you look at the top 3 things. Now, the correlation, I guess, between the 3 of this, and I hope I try to explain this correctly so you can understand my question. So when I look at the attention, I look at the to-do list, and I look at the top 3 things. Sometimes they don't gel together very nicely because you have so much to do and you have to prioritize. That feeling of overwhelm comes in then. How do you fix that overwhelm using your planner?
So every day, here's what a lot of people skip, Joy. The question, where was I uncomfortable yesterday?
Yeah.
if you're feeling overwhelmed on a daily basis, then the next day you should be writing down, I was overwhelmed by my to-do list. I was overwhelmed by my intention wasn't matching with my top three. You know, I was uncomfortable with those things, because as entrepreneurs, we are the ultimate optimists. We're people that do what the rest of the world feels is impossible. And what we're doing right now, speaking in an event like this, like being on a podcast where other people are going to listen, the average person feels like they're dying. You and I actually walk into this on purpose. And so when we don't recognize where we're uncomfortable, we do not open the equation to where we can solve things. And I think so often entrepreneurs stuff down where they're uncomfortable and go right back to the to-do list. And instead, when we let that discomfort rise, when we recognize where those moments in the day where we were uncomfortable, when we recognize the things that made us uncomfortable, I mean, whatever it is, writing it down. When you get in the habit of writing it down, after 2 or 3 days of that recognition, your mind will start to find other equations. When we stuff down, our conscious and subconscious mind do not work on it. They're just bothered by it. They're pressured by it. It creates anxiety. It creates symptoms in entrepreneurs. It actually increases the pressure and noise. When we recognize it, we create the possibility of solving it. Yeah. And so if you're in a place where your days aren't matching, if you're in a place where the top three doesn't really feel like momentum, write those things down and ask yourself why. And just the recognition of the issue starts the equation that your mind can actually create a solution.
Yeah, I love that. That's amazing. Hashtag goals. That was born from a joke. I used to coach because I'm heavy into marketing. I've got an agency, etc. And I used to coach one-on-one businesses, and for some reason it's easy for people to set a goal, but it's very hard for people to achieve a goal, right? It's just not. And that was born from that, because I used to irritate them every day. Hashtag goals. Where are you today with your goals? How do you set goals in your business, Alex?
You know, Joy, these days I have a team of about 17 people. And so I am involved at the very high level in our goal setting, in the direction of where we want to go for the year, in the direction of who we want to work with, what movement we're serving, in the direction of some of the products. But most of the goals and outcomes in my business are now set by my team. You know, we use our planning process where on a annual basis, we get together and we determine where we're going for the year. Then every quarter we get together and we choose what we're going to delegate to, what people are we going to hire, what projects are we going to accomplish, what processes are we going to document, and what policies are we going to put into the company. The team brings most of those forward, and then they're arranged and then prioritized by the team. And so we walk in every 90 days, then every 30 days we get together and they come up with what are the outcomes for those 30 days that are going to get us to those higher goals. And then every week we do our weekly commitments. And so when it comes to goal setting in our company, I'm involved in the very top of that structure, but as what we call our strategic plan of waterfall, as it waterfalls down through those different gates, most of the goals are set by my team. I'm there and I can say, hey, I think this is unrealistic, or I don't think this is enough, or I don't think this is the direction we want to go. But you know, we don't even look at them as goals. We look at them as outcomes. And we know we're going to achieve those outcomes because we have a process through which we execute, so that we know every day if someone's executing something in our business, it means that it fits into a weekly. And if it fits into a weekly, it fits into the monthly. And if it fits into the monthly, it fits into the quarterly. And then that fits into the annual goal, which is going to achieve our client-centric mission. So everyone in our organization knows what they're doing each day is going to get us to our long-term results. And so for me personally, I do the same thing. We have a personal planning process. Katie and I get together on an annual basis. And every year we set these goals where each year we've been a little more bold and a little more audacious. And in one way or another, they come true.